Good afternoon and welcome to our webinar, which is brought to you today by the Pension Scams Action Group, which we also refer to as PSAG. I'm delighted you're able to join us today to be part of this important conversation. I'm Cathy Mustoe. I work for the Pensions Regulator as the Industry Liaison Lead for PSAG, and I'm really pleased to be your host for this session. I'm joined today by Paul Sweeney, our Business Lead for the Pension Scams Action Group, who will be given an update on the work of PSAG and highlighting some of its recent achievements. I'm also really delighted to welcome Chris Bell, who is the Service Delivery Director at the City of London Police, where he's responsible for the transformation and replacement of the Action Fraud Service. The final 20 minutes of today's webinar will be dedicated to a Q&A session where our expert panel will also include Mike Broomfield, Head of Intelligence at TPR and Chair of PSAG, and James Bentley, who is the Investment Fraud Threat Lead at the National Economic Crime Centre. Please submit your questions throughout the session by typing them into the box at the right of this video player, and we'll answer as many as we can later. Please don't worry about capturing all of the information we'll be presenting today. The reference slides will be available to download during the session, along with a useful links document. And a recording of the webinar will also be available in a few days' time. We'd greatly appreciate your feedback on this webinar, and there's a survey available at the top of the menu on the left-hand side of the video player, and we encourage you to fill this out before you leave, even if you're unable to stay till the end. Pension scams devastate lives. The latest Action Fraud figures show that £17.7 million has been lost to pension fraud, with an average of £47,000 per victim. And the losses are not just financial. Becoming a victim of fraud has a severe impact, with victims reporting feelings of guilt, shame, and a huge loss of self-confidence. These crimes have an overwhelming impact. They often happen at a point in people's lives when they're not able to recover the loss and rebuild their pension pot or indeed their lives. And the threat is ever evolving. Fraudsters are exploiting new technology and developing new operating models to reach and trick their victims. Scammers are using social media and other online tools to lead people to fake and sometimes clone websites. And we're increasingly seeing the use of consolidator apps to collect data and steal identities so as to access pension funds. And of course, the use of AI is making these scams look more real and more convincing. That's why today's discussion is so important. We really want to start by updating you on the work we're doing at TPR, working with our Pension Scams Action Group partners to detect and prevent pension scams. PSAG is a multi-agency task force. It's comprised of law enforcement, government, regulators and industry bodies, and we're working together and taking decisive action to tackle pension fraud. Led by TPR, PSAG's members include the Department for Work and Pensions, the Financial Conduct Authority, the Treasury, the Money and Pensions Service, the Pension Scams Industry Group, and the National Economic Crime Centre. The group coordinates and targets efforts to combat pension scams and fraud through education, prevention and enforcement. We're working closely with our partners at the City of London Police, who are joining us here today, and at the Home Office, as well as many of you who are running and advising pension schemes. You'll be hearing today about some key developments to improve our approach and response to fraud. We're really excited to update you on plans for the new reporting system, which will be replacing Action Fraud later this year. This will be crucial in enabling you to report easily and effectively, so you can better play your part in the detection and prevention of fraud. I'd now like to introduce Paul Sweeney, Pension Scams Business Lead at TPR, to talk to you about the work we're doing with our PSAG partners. Paul.
Thank you, Cathy, and hello everyone. Thank you all for joining us today and for your efforts in supporting us to tackle pension fraud. Your engagement and our commitment to develop and improve will ensure that criminality linked to pensions continues to be addressed. We've already had some success, and I'd like to highlight those that I feel are particularly pertinent. Online fraud is attractive to criminals. It can be carried out remotely from anywhere in the world. It's cheap to effect and can be deployed at scale with little resource. Protecting savers from pension scams requires a proactive approach to stay ahead of these evolving threats. Advancements in AI have enabled scammers to develop fraudulent communications more quickly and convincingly than ever before, making it easier to manipulate savers. This is particularly evident in the creation of fraudulent websites. As part of our disruption strategy, we are focused on identifying and shutting down deceptive sites to safeguard savers. The website detection tool is an innovative solution developed by PSAG and TPR's data scientists with the dual purpose to identify potentially illicit websites and enhance risk analysis using machine learning. This tool has been instrumental in detecting potentially suspicious websites at an early stage. Once identified, a review and research process is undertaken by the team, which may result in submitting requests to partner agencies for further investigation and/or takedowns. Using this intelligence-led tool, we have reviewed 830 websites since we commenced the project a few years ago, allowing us to proactively identify and disrupt scam operations effectively. As a result, 29 high-risk websites have been taken down and 94 referrals have been made to external agencies. While these numbers may seem modest, the impact is significant as each of these sites have the potential to reach thousands of savers. It's worth noting that our efforts aim to go beyond merely identifying activities and taking down websites. We are committed to a broader strategy that disrupts these operations at their core. While this work is still in progress, we are actively engaging with key stakeholders to turn our plans into action. Our proactive measures and disruptive techniques have been necessary due to underreporting. With your help, we could achieve even more. So it's vital you report any suspicious activity. Your reports provide us with the crucial information needed to take down fraudulent websites and keep them down. To highlight the sophistication of these criminals, we'll now show you a mock-up of a fraudulent website modelled after real elements from sites we've taken down. As we proceed, we'll emphasise some key warning signs to watch out for, including the common use of emotive language designed to manipulate and mislead. As you can see from this slide, we have a site that offers free pension reviews or consultations, which are often a hook to gather personal information and assess savers' potential value. Too good to be true offers, promises of high returns with low risk, often using phrases like guaranteed returns or minimal risk, or early pension access. Claims that you can access your pension funds before the legal age, often through loans, bonuses, or loopholes. Moving to the second page of the mock-up website, this slide highlights some more deceptive tactics used by fake websites, including testimonials from supposed satisfied customers to build credibility and minimal or vague contact details, making it difficult to verify the legitimacy of the company. Finally, on the last page, you'll notice an extensive FAQ section designed to make the site appear professional and give the impression they are fully prepared to address any concerns. But in reality, they have just used repetitive phrases throughout the website, pulling out the same themes that you would have seen on the first page. One of the most common tactics scam websites use is adding disclaimers to their footers. Scam websites often claim to be introducers and use disclaimers referencing official acts and regulations to create a false sense of credibility, avoid legal repercussions, mislead users into believing they are trustworthy, and deflect responsibility by advising users to seek independent financial advice. Understanding the tactics used by scammers is crucial in recognising and preventing pension fraud. By being aware of the warning signs and the sophisticated methods employed, we can better protect savers from falling victim to these schemes. PSAG has also been collaborating with industry to drive and support innovation. We're always open to learning from other sectors so that we can stop scams. For instance, PSAG and partners collaborated with practitioners from the SaaS sector, law enforcement and regulators to identify potential solutions to the risk of pension fraud in the SaaS market. Industry was involved at the earliest stages to develop practical innovations as part of this project. The pensions regulator also runs its own anti-scam campaigns. Recently we had a couple of huge successes, one due to the openness and honesty of an individual, the other thanks to the BBC and a long-running drama. The individual to whom I must extend thanks on behalf of TPR was Pauline Padden. Pauline was a children's critical care nurse who lost her entire £45,000 pension savings to fraudsters. She shared her story of being scammed in the hope that this may prevent others from also falling victim. It took a lot of bravery on Pauline's part to do this. TPR staff provided her with support throughout the process of producing this film. The impact of this very human tale has been powerful and demonstrates the power of personal testimony. We're going to hear from Pauline in this short video, which offers a glimpse into her experience. To watch the full video and gain deeper insights into her story, please download our useful links document after this session, where you'll find the complete clip.
What have I done? What have I done? I'd willingly handed over these pensions I'd signed. It's £45,000. I'm never going to get that back again. I was devastated. It is a very real crime, and there are victims, and we do pay the price.
Now, from the personal to the communal, our other huge success was the inclusion of a storyline about pension scams in EastEnders. TPR worked with the producers of the programme to develop a realistic and impactful storyline about a major character falling victim of a scam. Not only was this the first time a soap opera tackled a pension scam, it increased awareness among viewers about identifying scams and the importance and vigilance in protecting pensions. The initiative, led by TPR's campaigns team, reached an audience of 16 million viewers across its episodes and generated 326 media articles. This innovative approach extended our message to millions, effectively highlighting to the public the dangers of pension scams. Additionally, our executive director's interview on BBC Morning Live, alongside our Scam Victims case study, reached an additional 1.16 million viewers. The EastEnders storyline significantly boosted our pension scam video featuring Pauline Padden, making it the top performing TPR video of all time. As of now, it has received over 35,000 views via YouTube. Alongside innovative approaches to tackle fraud, we remain supportive of our ongoing projects, and this year marks the 5th anniversary of the pledge to combat pension scams. During that time, there have been over 700 pledges and more than 400 self-certifications of adherence to the pledge principles. This is hugely encouraging and demonstrates the value of making a declaration. Being part of a larger movement is important. The collective effort not only motivates others to act, but is a practical demonstration to savers that action is being taken to combat pension fraud. I'd like to thank everyone who has pledged or self-certified and encourage those who haven't done so yet to do so now. You'll be joining the 700 organisations who have pledged to adopt anti-scam practices and follow the principles of the pledge. One final thought before we welcome Chris Bell from City of London Police. And that's the issue of reporting. Our colleagues at the Financial Conduct Authority estimate that less than 1 in 5 instances of scams are reported. It's only on the information that TPR and its partners in PSAG receives that it can act. And that includes persuading those who hold the purse strings to fund the work. We're still not seeing enough reporting. Industry must improve in this area. Underreporting is a failure to protect savers. Our response is informed by your reporting, and we can only work and plan on the information we receive. We need to strengthen our intelligence picture so that we can better appreciate the scale and types of criminal activity taking place. We can only do this with more reporting. Every report counts. We need industry and the public to come forward and report all suspicions of pension scams to Action Fraud. Given the evolving nature of scams, effective tackling requires enhanced collaboration to improve our intelligence framework and develop sustainable policies. As part of this initiative, we've placed TPR representatives within the City of London Police and the National Economic Crime Centre. Reporting is our best defence, and you are our front line. I'd now like to introduce Chris Bell, Service Delivery Director from City of London Police and the Chief Officer responsible for the FCC RAS programme, the Transformation and Replacement for the Action Fraud Service, who can explain to you some of the ways in which the systems have improved.
Thanks, Paul, and good afternoon, everybody. I'm genuinely excited to share updates on the development and progress of the Fraud and Cybercrime Reporting and Analysis Service programme. This programme, known as FCC RAS, is vast in scope. It isn't a single project, but 16 interconnected projects, each playing a critical role in building a service that is fit for the future. This includes everything from replacing core technology and improving intelligence sharing to developing new victim services and refining industry collaboration. With a programme of this scale, we have to get it right. That's why this transformation takes time. We are not just replacing a system, we are designing an entirely new ecosystem that will serve victims, industry and law enforcement for the years to come. This initiative reflects our commitment to transforming how we address crime, in particular fraud, by using intelligence based on reliable data. A system that supports industry and broader stakeholders alike, whilst delivering government and policing priorities. Today I'll showcase where we are with the progression of the FCC RAS programme. I'll start by highlighting the operational need for this new service and introducing you to our new crime and intelligence system, Foundry. I will also cover why we landed on the new service branding and why the brand name itself plays such an important role in the transition. I will explain how this impacts users, including enhancements like bulk uploads, which I appreciate are currently awkward to manage. I will also touch on the secondees we are currently housing within the City of London Police National Fraud Intelligence Bureau and the value of the ongoing collaboration. Finally, I'll share our plans for 2025 and beyond. There's plenty to talk about, so let's dive right in. The new service is fully aligned to the strategy of the Pensions Regulator. As Paul and Cathy have already mentioned, we are working together to improve the whole system. There's been a slight but important shift away from Pursue as the focus of the service. Instead, we're placing additional focus on Protect, Prevent and Prepare to ensure we improve outcomes. Our aims for this transformation are threefold. We're replacing and expanding Action Fraud's public contact centre and reporting channels. We're overhauling the website and reporting tool for the public and industry professionals. And we're implementing a new crime and intelligence system that leads to the expansion of current personnel within the Action Fraud Service. This change is essential to ensuring we are aligned to the government's fraud strategy, but importantly the pension regulators and PSAG strategy too. Our new crime and intelligence system has many benefits and will provide an uplift in key areas. This upgrade is a fundamental shift in how fraud and cybercrime intelligence is processed, shared and actioned. For the pensions industry, this means faster victim outcomes, thanks to higher quality disseminations, reaching the right enforcement agencies with greater speed and accuracy. For the sake of clarity, when I use the term disseminations, what I'm referring to are the methods by which we share information with our partner bodies. It also improves the feedback loop, ensuring those reporting fraud receive clearer, more timely updates on their cases. And beyond enforcement, Foundry will strengthen prevent and protect efforts, delivering tailored fraud prevention messages based on specific crime types, helping the industry and the public stay ahead of emerging threats. Our system is a bespoke crime and intelligence system designed for the City of London Police. Reporting both confirmed fraud and suspicions of fraud is crucial to building a complete threat picture. Suspicion is an important point. Not only do we act on reports of fraud, but we are also very interested in suspicions of fraudulent activity. Reporting suspicious activity is worthwhile and valuable. It can stop the escalation of criminal activity by nipping it in the bud before savers become victims. Fraud is rarely isolated. Reports help identify patterns, disrupt criminal networks, and strengthen prevention efforts. The more intelligence we gather by information reports, the more it will assist in protecting businesses and the public from evolving threats. Foundry ensures that data is more accurate and more accessible. It will provide better quality insights and the right information quickly and efficiently, helping you make more informed decisions. Whether it's fraud reports, intelligence data, or compliance records, the new platform will allow seamless access for intelligence and crime review staff, cutting time spent looking for information. Automation and advanced analytics will accelerate many processes. This means that everything from fraud detection to case resolution will happen faster. For instance, reports can be processed in real time, and automated workflows will ensure no steps are missed. Collaboration is critical in tackling fraud, and the new system is designed on that principle, enabling seamless sharing of information across different law enforcement teams and government departments. In the future, this will extend to external industry partners. There are many discrete and unique bodies working to tackle fraud, and we will be able to enhance communication and coordination between them so that everyone is quite literally working from the same page. Whether you're collaborating with internal teams or external stakeholders, Foundry makes that process smoother and more effective. Scalability and flexibility are built into the new system. As demands on the service grow, the system can and will grow with them. It is flexible enough to adapt to changing needs, encompassing new fraud detection methods and data requirements. It will be able to adapt to future technological advancements, meaning it can keep pace with criminal activity. One of the most important benefits of the new system is its proved efficiency. Data will now be accessible in one place. No more workarounds, extra software, or manual processing to piece things together. By streamlining access, users can now focus on analysis and decision-making rather than navigating fragmented data. This will lead to faster outcomes for the industry, something we know is critical for you. Fraud investigations, reporting, and intelligence sharing will be quicker, more accurate, and less burdensome. We're also introducing a consistent way of getting information to you. New standardised formats will make the sharing of information smoother and more predictable for everyone involved. These are just a few examples, but they represent a major step forward in delivering a smarter, more efficient service. Another key benefit of the new system is the ability to enhance collaboration and deliver holistic insights. One of the most significant outcomes is the increased likelihood that you will receive meaningful resolutions. This is thanks to the advanced tools and streamlined processes developed within the Foundry platform. Improved collaboration and enhanced data sharing are central to this. The system ensures that information flows faster, more consistently, and at a higher quality across all stakeholders. The kind of information we are sharing will help our partner agencies. It might be feedback on reports that have been made, targeted intelligence to deter criminal activity, statistics related to our joint activities, or alerts to industry about potential scams. We will share this on a timely basis and on a need to know. It will be bespoke, tailored to audiences, and as we finesse the focus of the system, of greater use than previously. This consistency ensures everyone, from law enforcement to industry professionals like you, receive the information needed to take appropriate action. These advancements help strengthen partnerships and improve outcomes for both industry and victims alike. We'll deliver more enriched disseminations of information going to forces or law enforcement agencies to act upon. increasing the likelihood of meaningful outcomes for fraud investigations. Now, moving away from the technology side of things and into something equally important, the branding of the replacement service. Before I reflect on this, I want to highlight that what I'm about to share is not yet public information. So we are not in a position to share the look and feel of the new brand, but I will aim to bring it to life today. We appreciate your discretion as we continue preparing for the official launch. But the name of the new service is Report Fraud. It's designed to make the message clear, memorable and simple, supported by tell the police about incidents of cybercrime and fraud. We carried out extensive testing with numerous stakeholders, victim representatives, the public and industry partners. Their insights and feedback were invaluable in helping us arrive at this name, which I'll explain further in the next slide. We've also aligned the brand and its future launch with the Home Office's Stop Think Fraud campaign. This alignment is essential to ensure that national fraud campaign strategies remain consistent and impactful. Ultimately, the goal here is to simplify the reporting journey, making sure everyone knows exactly where to go to report fraud. This slide is really a visual representation of the extensive engagement that's gone into getting us to this point. We've worked with a wide range of partners, gathering insights, feedback, and ideas to help shape the new service. Some of the key groups involved included the pensions regulator, representatives from the retail and telecom sector, banking institutions, and the victim support services. These conversations have been invaluable in refining the branding and the service direction to ensure it works not only for us, but for the industry and the public too. It's thanks to this collaborative effort that we've arrived at a solution we believe to be fit for purpose and impactful. 3 areas we know are particularly relevant to you are bulk uploads, secondees, and future collaboration. Starting with bulk uploads. The new platform will make this process significantly easier. Users will have access to simplified, downloadable template files, resulting in consistent formatting and smoother data entry. These uploads will be managed through a dedicated section of the platform called the Collaboration Portal. We've listened to your feedback and we know communication about file processing and status updates was a major pain point. With the new system, users will be able to log in, track the progress of their uploads, view results, and access reference numbers. Importantly, communication will be optional. You'll have the ability to opt in and out of updates. Additionally, each report will now be treated individually and assigned a solvability score. This ensures every case receives an appropriate level of attention. Next, we're highlighting the role of secondees. We've embedded professionals from key partners, including the Serious Fraud Office and the Pensions Regulator, directly within the service. This close working relationship is already delivering valuable insights and operational improvements, as Paul previously highlighted. Finally, I want to touch on future collaboration. There's great potential to extend partnerships, including Police Scotland, a step that would further our nationwide response to the ever-growing fraud threat. This is an exciting area of growth, and we look forward to continuing these discussions. I want to leave you with a positive look towards the future. This isn't just a one-time transformation. It's a service designed for continuous improvement. The technology and processes we built are scalable, enhanced, and ready to adapt to new developments, including advancements in AI and evolving operational requirements. There are already exciting improvements on the horizon. One key development is welcoming Police Scotland into the service, strengthening our national approach to tackling fraud. We're also moving SIFAS reports from being purely information to becoming actionable crime reports. This will significantly enhance operational outcomes. Another critical step is the integration of the Police National Database, enabling more seamless data sharing and intelligence gathering across forces. We're also working towards delivering multi-channel reporting options and improving victim services, making the journey easier and more supportive for those impacted by fraud. And that's just the beginning. We already have a log of new improvements sourced from service user feedback, victim experiences, insights from new service entrants, and evolving government and policing priorities. This is a journey, one focused on growth, collaboration and making a real difference for both industry and the public. My very final thought is a request, something for you to take away. The shiny new system with all its capabilities and potential depends on data based on your reporting, reports of either actual or suspected criminality. Once the system is launched, I would ask you to make it known to industry, to scheme members, savers, your administrators, scheme managers and stakeholders. Please spread the word. The more reporting that is made, the better the system will function and the safer those we seek to protect will be. Internal training of staff has begun within the new system, with our crime and intelligence system already live and has been since November 2024. The full service go live is expected for 2025 and we are looking forward to sharing more with industry during our phased launch. Thank you all for your time today. I'm looking forward to answering your questions in the Q&A.
Thank you, Chris. We'll now take a brief 2-minute pause to give you time to submit your questions and take a quick refreshment break. We'll start the Q&A session shortly. Welcome back. I'm delighted to have been joined by Mike Broomfield, Head of Intelligence at TPR and Chair of PSAG, and James Bentley, Investment Fraud Threat Lead at the National Economic Crime Centre. They're here to help answer your questions today, and I can see on the screen in front of me that we've had lots coming in, so let's get straight to it. And Chris, this first question is for you. I think a question is going to be on lots of people's minds. How and when will you be able to communicate to people that the new service is live?
Thanks, Cathy. And quite simply, at the moment, we're at the latter stages of devising our launch campaign strategy. So that will see us using our own media channels in the countdown to the go live of our new service. We're also looking to utilise the Home Office's Stop Think Fraud campaign to highlight that countdown to go live. And finally, through our partner agencies throughout the network, including the pensions regulators, to help us amplify when we're cutting across to the new service. So there'll be a countdown in good time, and hopefully everyone will be well versed with when we're switching across to the report fraud service.
Great, thank you, and we look forward to helping you with that in due course. Next question, Paul, I'm going to pass to you. You and Chris have both mentioned that people should be reporting their suspicions. Can you remind us, please, how they should be doing that?
Thanks, Cathy. It's a good question, and absolutely we want people to report their suspicions. What I'd say with suspicions is, in general, if you've got a matter where you're a bit concerned about it, I think you should really trust your instinct, and it's really important that you put that report in, because you never know what that information might lead to. You might think that you're the only person that has that suspicion, but you could find there are other people as well, and then we've got that collective amount of information that we can then bring together. Which might give us an idea of what's actually taking place. But the place to do that is via crime reports or via information reports via the current action fraud system. So we'd really ask you to report there. I'd probably just say at this point, Chris, I don't know if there's anything you wish to add on that.
Yeah, no, I mirror the advice that you're giving, Paul, but probably just to touch on in the new service of report fraud, we recognise one of the challenges right now is the kind of one-size-all-fits-all approach to reporting. The new service will be far more nuanced and tailored to those different report types. So it will be swifter, easier and more intuitive for people to report information reports than it may be currently under the Action Fraud website.
Great, thank you both. We've had quite a few questions, I think, about how we raise public awareness of the risk of scams and fraud. Mike, obviously TPR's had some really successful campaigns recently, not least having a storyline on EastEnders. Can you give us a bit more detail about how you'll continue to highlight the risk of pension fraud to the general public?
Thanks, Cathy. Yeah, as you mentioned, we've had some great media opportunities recently with EastEnders and, of course, our work with Pauline Padden. But one of the things that we'll be doing a lot more of is supporting the Stop Think Fraud campaign, which is the central government campaign to make savers engage with their pension when they suspect a scam and to stop and think about what they're doing to prevent themselves becoming a victim. So that's really important, and the Pension Scams Action Group absolutely supports that work. We'll continue to work with our partners also to flag any communications opportunities where the strengthening numbers we can use to promote awareness and stop people from being victims of scams.
Yeah, absolutely. It's all about prevention. James, we've got a question for you. Thank you so much for joining us today from the NECC. Can you tell us how you see the benefits of the TPR and NECC relationship working?
Yeah, thanks, Kathy. So I think one of the key benefits of the NEC is the multi-agency approach. So the NEC is uniquely placed to bring partners around the table, whether that's law enforcement, wider public sector, and even private sector partners, to come together and look at a collective problem. And I think side by side with that is the secondment model at the NEC. So I'm very fortunate to have a TPR member of staff on my team. Lots of agencies are in the NEC, and bringing that subject matter expertise and knowledge to tackle a problem really is incredibly powerful. And I'd say the fraud threat leadership team isn't huge at the NEC. And actually what we really need is to be able to use our partners' capabilities, knowledge, abilities to come together and tackle a problem together. And that can be really, really powerful to tackle the fraud threat. Great,
thank you. Paul, I think, again, this is probably going to be quite a popular question from people listening. So we've heard today about the new reporting system that is coming online. What should people be doing in the meantime?
Okay, yeah, absolutely. I understand why this question's come up again with the new system on the horizon, but the current system, Action Fraud, is still where we want you to report things into. Again, we've said every report counts, and it's really vital that we can get that material to us so that we can actually start looking at what the national intelligence kind of picture is of pension fraud. Now, to support that work in the interim while before the new system comes along, is we do actually have a secondee, which we've mentioned earlier in the broadcast, and that individual is actually reviewing all those reports that come in. So I can just say that those reports are being looked at, and they will continue to be looked at. So.
Great, thank you. And Chris, there's another one here for you. You mentioned in your presentation that Police Scotland will be becoming part of the new service. Can you give us a bit more detail about that, when that will be happening?
Yes, absolutely. So I think first and foremost, I think we'd all recognise having a full national threat picture as something that is an excellent opportunity for us, and something we'd really like to establish. And we've been in dialogue with Police Scotland now for around 18 months, and they're very keen to join the new service. As it stands presently, they're at the stage where they are looking and reviewing how their processes and procedures will operate in Scotland and be able to work with us in report fraud. So that's a piece of action live right now. So we don't have a confirmed date, but I would expect that to be within 12 months of go live. So at some point during 2026, I'd expect Scotland to become part of the service.
Okay. Great, and no doubt you'll be keeping people posted on that as well. Absolutely. Brilliant, thank you. James, another one for you. Can you tell us where pension fraud sits within the NEC's priorities generally?
Yeah, so if we look at what the NEC really focuses its attention on, and at a high level, that's sort of online or tech enablement of fraud, that's the overseas nexus, and it's the high harm frauds. And it's in that high harm space where pension fraud really sits. And those high harm frauds might not be as prevalent as other fraud types. The numbers are lower, thankfully, but actually, the impact and the value that's lost can be much, much higher. And I think that's where it needs to remain a focus. And I think because you target my credit card and I lose some money, well, of course, that's going to impact me. But actually, if you're talking about people's pensions, their life savings, yes, there's the financial loss, and it's a catastrophic financial loss, but also there's that emotional and psychological impact that it has. If people have lost that amount of money, it's changing their retirement plans, it's changing their life plans. It's for that reason I think it's going to remain a priority, certainly in my portfolio within investment fraud.
Great, that's good to hear. Thank you very much. Mike, I'm going to ask you to answer this question. So we heard in the presentation of the latest action fraud figures, which in the grand scheme of things you could argue are quite low, but at the same time we're really encouraging people to report and to report more. That could appear to be incompatible. So how will you help the industry to have confidence in fraud prevention?
Yeah, really good question. So as you've heard today, the reason we're here is to make sure that people are aware of what's coming in report fraud and what our colleagues in City of London Police are doing. So we need reports to give an accurate picture of pension fraud in the UK. So sometimes we're aware that figures are actually larger than reported. So that's why we need to continue to encourage industry to report to us so that we understand what's happening in the UK in regard to pensions fraud, that we can analyse that information, whether it be financial or the actual models, and that we can do something about it. So you've heard from Chris about how that system's going to work. That should give us a richer picture of the intelligence coming in and how we can use it in the future and how we can give a more accurate picture going forward. Yeah. But at the moment, we can only report back on what we receive. Yeah. So really, I'd encourage industry to keep reporting to us and use this new system, use Action Fraud in the meantime, but use and engage with the new system, and we'll keep talking about it.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, so the new system's really going to help us understand the true scale of the problem, but we need the reports to play their part in that. Chris, another one for you. Again, a popular question. We've heard about the new service. What materials and tools are going to be available to people to help them use the new service when it's available?
Thanks, Kathy. Well, they'll be wide-ranging. But the core tools will surround the launch of a new website. That website will hold a significant amount of assets. It will hold a lot of information in terms of prevent and prepare materials so that people, both in industry and the general public, can understand the latest information. Building on that, we are developing a reporting tool, as I referenced slightly earlier. That'll be nuanced and tailored to different reasons for people reporting, so it'll be an easier journey for people. And wrapped around that will be a significant amount of materials through those that have to be trained on the system, those campaigns for prevent and prepare, and those will be stuff we'll be looking to share throughout the network. So, you know, it's something we are considering investing a significant amount of time, effort into developing, and we're looking to showcase and use those throughout the network moving forward.
Great, thank you. It sounds like a huge programme of work. Paul, another one here for you. You mentioned in your presentation that you've developed a website detection tool at TPR and that you're making referrals to your partners. Can you tell us a little bit more about how that's working in practice?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so this is obviously a key piece of work that we're quite proud of. So we obviously decided to talk a little bit more about it today. And you know, this is something that was developed by TPR data scientists and TPR intelligence experts as well, that they kind of brought together their knowledge on, and having identified a problem that we were seeing with illicit websites, and looked at how we could actually respond to it. Rather than just saying, we'll make referrals and just pass it on to somebody else, we wanted to make sure that we were doing some really key work and doing what we could to take those sites down. But so what we do initially is we do some research into it. If one's identified to us, we check the information that we've got, and then we look at working with partners as well, and to look at maybe what the risks are around that particular website. If it's something that we can then refer for a takedown, we will do that, and we have done that. But if it's something that perhaps is getting a little bit more technical, moving more into different areas of criminality, we'd then refer it out to other partner agencies. So it's, you know, it's a developing area of work that we're in. We're learning from others, we're learning as we go along, and we're really looking to really push this in the future, because we think that the cyber side of things, it's really important that we play our part in tackling it.
Yeah, great, thank you. It sounds like a great development. Mike, there's one here about the pledge. We heard in the presentation that the pledge is going to be having its 5th year anniversary later this year. Can you tell us a little bit more about the pledge and exactly what it involves?
Absolutely. So this is a really great piece of work that builds on our work with the Pension Scams Industry Group and a code of good conduct around transfer values and how to look out for scams. So it's really giving the tools to our colleagues in industry, across trustees, professionals and administrators, to actually spot the signs of a scam, raise awareness with the savers in their schemes so that they're looking out for scams as well, and that we can continue to raise awareness. So we've already got 700 entities that have pledged, but we need more. So do engage with it. read the materials on our website and take the pledge.
Great, thank you. And I'm sure that people will be hearing more from TPR later this year as we approach that 5th year anniversary. James, there's a great question here for you, if that's okay. Can you tell us what you see in the NEC as the key emerging challenges and innovations in pensions fraud?
It's a great question. So I think things that are front and centre of my mind are tech and online enablement and crypto. And I think in the crypto space, we've seen scams play out in 3 ways, really. So firstly, scams that are crypto in name only. There's no underlying crypto tech. It's a bogus scheme. We've seen people's crypto assets being targeted by fraudsters, so legitimate crypto assets targeted by fraudsters. And really key, I think, here is we have seen fraudsters really valuing the crypto space to move their funds around and cash out. And I think we need to be very alive to 2 things, really. The first is how people will view crypto schemes as a viable place to put their money. They can be quite attractive, and you know, some are very legit, but we need to be alive to how attractive people view these, but also how attractive bad actors see the crypto space as a place to move their money around. And I'd say, and I'd bring that back to the point I made earlier on, that public-private partnership that the NEC is able to facilitate, and that relationship we have with the tech firms that we're developing all the time, I think is really key in this space.
Great. Thank you, that's really helpful. I'm not at all surprised to see this next question come up, so Mike, I'm going to ask you to take it if that's okay. Have you got any updates from your colleagues at the DWP about any changes being made to the transfer regulations?
Yeah, so there was a review of the pensions transfer regulations in 2022. So following on from that review, the DWP have committed to work with the pensions industry, the pensions regulator, to assess the impact of those regulations and see if there can be improvements made to the sort of pensions transfer experience without actually undermining the regulations themselves. So I think this work will continue in the background, and what we would aim to do is, once we've worked with DWP and industry, is raise some awareness of what the impact of that work actually is.
Mm-hmm. Great, thank you. And this is also a really great question that we've had come through, which, Paul, I'm going to ask you to pick up, please. How worried should we be about scammers getting pension details from the pensions dashboard when it launches?
That's a good question, Martha. Thank you. Well, what I would say is I wouldn't be in a situation where you're being worried about it. You know, there's a reason why we have these partnership approaches. There's a reason why we work with City London Police, Action Fraud, National Economic Crime Centre, as well as many others, to look at threats and risks. I'd also add that we do have a team of people working on dashboards at the pensions regulator that are engaged with the project. There's been some analysis on the potential risks at this stage, and I think everything in that space is mitigated at this point. But the reality is that we're in a situation where you're always having to look at risks, and this is why it comes back to the importance of the communication around reporting. If you are seeing something that is suspicious and relates to a dashboard, then you need to tell us about it so that we can then feed in to partners so we can look at how we can actually address any potential risk that there is. But I would say at this point there's an awful lot of work going on around in that space in order to protect savers.
Yeah, and we're working very closely, obviously, with our partners at the Pensions Dashboard Programme as well. Mike, another one for you, please. We heard earlier on about the new scam leaflet from TPR that's recently been updated. Can you clarify, please, is it the intention that replaces the FCA Scam Smart leaflet, or does it sit alongside it?
Currently it sits alongside it. The intention longer term is to replace it, so it will replace the Scam Smart leaflet. Let's keep using the Scam Smart leaflet in the meantime, and then gradually it'll be phased out.
Yeah, we're happy for people to run down their current stocks if they've got some. Thank you. Chris, here's one for you. How do people sign up for scam alert emails?
Yeah, I think I'll probably answer this in two different ways. So I think what we're looking to do, certainly in new service, and much of this we can do in the existing action fraud service, is communicate with people the way that they want to receive. So it's the classic opt-in and opt-out. I think for the most emerging scam alerts, then social media would probably be the most obvious place to go. So things like X and Facebook accounts that are attached to Action Fraud, Stop Think Fraud, and many of the other campaigns that are delivered across the network is probably the best way to keep up to date with the latest information. But there are other routes you can log into it and receive information from via the Action Fraud and soon to be Report Fraud website.
Okay. That's good to know. Thank you. Mike, I know you're going to love this question. For every website that's taken down, presumably another one or another two pops up. So are you playing whack-a-mole?
Are we playing whack-a-mole? So whack-a-mole is a phrase that's dear to my heart because I've heard it many times since we've embarked on PSAG. So I think the key thing here for us is to focus on the prevention and disruption of these websites. Sure, it could feel like whack-a-mole sometimes, but as you heard earlier, we've reviewed over 800 of these websites. We've taken down 29 of them. We've referred 94 to our law enforcement colleagues. So even if it feels like whack-a-mole sometimes, we're taking direct action, we're disrupting, and it's a really great piece of work, as you've heard, and Paul answered a question earlier. So we will continue that work and until it doesn't feel like whack-a-mole.
Yeah, it's all about creating friction, isn't it? And just
Absolutely.
making it difficult. Chris, I think you managed not to give us a specific date during your presentation. Are you able to tell us when the action fraud system will be replaced by the new one?
So good question, Kathy, and the answer is I won't give you a specific date, but we are committed to having the full launch of the service during 2025. As we touched on in the presentation segment, we have started that cut across of services. We continue to develop and roll out those services in the background. And the public-facing assets, which is going to be the new website and reporting tool, and switching across to our new contact centre number, which we'll keep under wraps for now, will come later in the year. But people will recognise that we're on the journey, and each step that we come out and phasing that in, we will be letting people know well in advance of when we're cutting across. So watch this space.
Yeah.
The nearer we get, the more certain we are to a date, then we'll be keen to share it.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you. And obviously we'll let everybody know that's listening to this webinar today as soon as we have that information to share. Mike, I'm going to come back to you. You spoke about fake websites and fake social media pages and people impersonating potentially realistic websites. Is there a challenge to get these taken down, and how are you working with the social media providers to do that?
So it's really good that I've got my colleague sitting next to me and James. We're working with agencies like City of London Police and NEC. So where we see these, we can work in partnership to actually tackle them. And one of the powerful things about seconding staff to different organisations, when we see this kind of risk and issue, we can work with colleagues who have that reach with social media platforms. And sure, it can be a challenge to take them down quickly sometimes, but collaborating with our colleagues and looking at shared risks enables us to take them down much more faster than we would do on our own.
Yeah, great, thank you. There's a question here about recent scams. Paul, are you able to elaborate at all about any of the recent cases you've seen and whether they're becoming more sophisticated?
Oh, okay, so that's a good question. I mean, for me, I don't know, but generalistic, but all scams, all fraud have a level of sophistication to them. These are unfortunately, these are very clever people who are trying to deprive individuals of their hard-earned savings and their assets. So, they will try multiple different ways to go about it. And, sometimes they can be organised to a degree. I think the biggest area of worry, and it's not to repeat things we've already said, but is in that kind of online space, the websites, the fake kind of websites has been the biggest issue of late. That's been the worry that we've got with the sites that look genuine, perhaps they've been cloned. That's where we've seen been the biggest kind of issues in recent times, and that's why we've taken that action. That's why we developed the tool that we have. I mean, what we are looking to do in the near future is, how we can share any information about, kind of potential risks and scams, and through partners or even directly through the form of like an industry alert or something. So that's something that we've got in the future that we're looking to do, so we can keep you all kind of abreast of any concerns or any potential new frauds that are coming through.
Great, thank you. And Chris, another one for you. I think you did touch on this in your presentation, but if you could perhaps clarify it for us, please. So once a report has been made to the service, are people going to be then kept up to date with the findings? Will there be some sort of report tracker type service?
Yeah, no, it's a really good question, Cathy, and one happy to confirm. So, I mean, one of the biggest weaknesses and criticism of the Action Fraud Service has been the black hole effect of reporting, and many people not understanding what is happening to their case. So it is absolutely a feature of the new service that people will be able to log in and track what's happening with their particular cases. We're also going to have a greater number of touch points with people that report to let them know decisions that have been made, clarify why those have been made against the various legislations, and inform the decisions that have been had at every time. I think the last bit, which is another big leap forward what the new service will bring, although people may be communicated at a time of a certain action we've taken or not, as new information comes into our system and matches with information that maybe people provided, we will bring cases back alive if more evidence comes to light to link those through for further outputs or actions. So there's a lot of enhancements, and that's the stuff we'll start to engage and share with people as part of the launch campaign. But tracking your case is a key, simple ask, but one we're absolutely bringing into the new service.
That's great, thank you. I think people will find that really reassuring. Sadly, we're running out of time, but we've got time for just another couple of questions. One for you, Mike. Is there any national advertising plan to support the campaigns?
Spoke earlier about the central government campaign, Stop Think Fraud, so there'll be more of that. So there's been the initial phase and different phases of that campaign, so we really want to get behind that campaign because it's a national campaign raising awareness about the dangers of fraud and really encouraging consumers, savers to engage before they make really important decisions with their money. So expect more of that. And we've talked about our leaflet as well. We've talked about the pledge. So there's enough going on at the moment, and also working with our partners, I'm sure there'll be more.
Yeah, great, thank you. And our final question, Paul, I'm going to ask you to answer this one, please. If you want to change your pension provider from one company to another, how can you check that they are a reputable company?
Well, I mean, obviously the key thing there is always to do some research, do your due diligence. You can check the FCA register as well, and also you can check via Companies House as well, just to check that they're a legitimate company. What I would say, Companies House, is they're making an awful lot of changes at the moment. They're really tightening up on a lot of their processes, so I would look to that as well as the FCA register as well. What I would say finally on it as well is if you're unsure on it, trust your instinct. If it doesn't seem quite right, you're not really comfortable with who you're dealing with, then take a pause. Take time to really look at the material that you've got and really think about, should you be changing to this company?
We're reaching the end of our time today, and we've covered a lot of ground. You've heard about the latest updates from the Pension Scams Action Group and how we're working collaboratively with our partners to combat fraud. Paul outlined some recent innovations, such as the website detection tool, which is enabling us to identify and take down deceptive websites, as well as our recent impactful and very successful awareness campaigns. And we've had an excellent update from Chris about the new reporting service, Report Fraud, which will be launching later this year. It was really encouraging to hear about some of the exciting new functionality of that system, which will greatly improve how we process, share and action fraud and cybercrime intelligence. This improved data quality will enable better collaboration across the agencies involved and will ultimately lead to improved outcomes for the victims of these crimes. We've also heard how the threat of pension scams is ever evolving. That is why it is so important that you make your reports and share your suspicions with us. Your role in this is crucial. These reports contribute to building a comprehensive intelligence picture which enables us to identify patterns, take action to disrupt criminal networks and strengthen our preventative efforts. By reporting suspicious activity, you can help stop scams before they escalate and protect savers from becoming victims. We'll keep you updated on the launch of the new reporting system, and in the meantime, please do continue reporting to Action Fraud. As Paul and Chris have both said, every report really does count. So thank you very much for joining us today and for submitting your questions and comments, and thank you for your continued efforts in supporting us to combat pension scams. We hope you found this session useful, and remember that the reference slides and useful links document are available to download now, and a recording of this webinar will be accessible in a few days' time if you want to watch again. Please take a moment to fill out the feedback survey before you leave, as your input really does help us to improve future sessions. Finally, my thanks to our panel, Paul, Chris, Mike and James, and from all of us, thank you and goodbye.